Alright, so I'm going to go through some more advanced goal setting in relation to fat loss. So this one here is going to go into a little bit more of the whys and some of the behaviours and avoidant behaviours that we use that sometimes we use to get in our own way, and how we can use those behaviours, recognise them and move towards something. So fat loss is a huge thing. In the day and age, everyone has an ideal where they believe they need to look, or they believe they'll feel better if they look, or a weight that they feel if I got to that weight I would be happy or I would be satisfied. So what I like to do when we talk about a fat loss phase is I like to try and change the meaning of this. And I try to turn it into a performance mindset. So instead of focusing on fat loss, we're going to focus on performance. How do we manage that? How do we make that step across? Because the goal is still fat loss, but the mind shift towards performance is how we're going to nail this. So we're going to start here using this matrix. And in this matrix we have 4 quadrants. So we've got avoidant behaviours, things that give us relief, what's important, and what gives us satisfaction. Things that are moving in this direction are moving us towards something. Things on this side are moving us away from something. Now, what we want is we want our goals and our behaviours and our habits and our mindset moving us towards satisfaction, moving us towards what is important and who is important, and away from things that we are avoiding and things that provide us an instant relief. So when we do that, we look at what is important to you. So we start here. What's important? So what is important for you? Obviously, your goals, your fat loss. Who is important to you? The usual ones. We've got family, friends, and hopefully yourself. This here in the middle, this is you noticing, you being aware of everything that's in here. Now, if we have a look at over here, we can look at the things that give us relief. These things here are definitely some of the big things we look at, that when we're going to get in a way that maybe have led to us requiring the fat loss thing, or maybe the reason that we can't maintain that fat loss journey, that we get that 1 to 2 weeks in and we just can't keep up this anymore, it's too hard and we have to give up. So these are barriers in our way towards. So what things provide us with relief when we're performing these goals or things that are getting in the way? Food. Food being a big one. It's normally the main cause of energy in. And that could be food because sometimes when we enjoy these foods, these highly palatable foods, things that are high sugar, high salt, high fat, high carb, these blends of food that are highly palatable and they taste fantastic, they make us feel good. And that's what we're chasing. We're chasing that relief. We want that feeling. It feels great. So we keep chasing it. What else do we use? We use substances. People like, what happens is like, oh, I've had a hard day, I need a beer. That's a substance that provides us relief. Some people use alcohol, some people use drugs, some people use food as an addictive as well. Giving up feels good because it's easier. We give up, we get that sense of relief that it's over. Scale weight. This is something that these next 3 might actually seem like it's odd that they're going to be in the relief point. But scale weight, perception, and physique ideals. We have that relief that if we get to, for example, I want to get to 70 kilos. If I get to 70 kilos, I'm going to feel relief. I'm going to feel good about myself because that number has an emotional attachment. This body image has a significant attachment to me. It requires emotional response and that perception around it. They provide us relief, but we're not going to be satisfied with what that is. So how do we manage behaviours to manage? And we use avoidant behaviours here. Fad dieting, yo-yo dieting, restriction of entire foods, restriction of entire food groups, a carbohydrate to a low-fat diet, so we go on carnivore, we go on cleanses, we do these things, these fad and yo-yo diets, and these are avoidance behaviours to avoid feeling these things. We use them, Or we sometimes might just go, we're just not going to train at all. We're not going to go to the gym. We're going to ignore food. We're not going to use our calorie tracking apps because they make us feel bad, and we don't want to feel bad. So we want to move away from feeling bad. We want things that give us relief, and we're going to use these things here to avoid feeling bad. What we have to do is we need to manage some of these behaviours to kind of move forward. And how do we do that? And that's where I talk into my performance goal setting rather than fat loss goal setting. So we start looking at what's important in this goal. Well, maybe some of the goals shouldn't be what's important as fat loss. Maybe what should be important is feeling healthy. Strength training. Why is strength training important? Because strength training prevents bone mineral density loss, it prevents muscle atrophy, it makes us feel better, it gives us extra longevity in life, it helps us sleep better, it increases our metabolism, it does everything, it helps balance our hormones, it helps provide additional support to our hormones. Strength training is an amazing mental health tool. So maybe what's important if we move to how strength training makes us feel healthy. What do we do? Maybe instead of focusing on being in reduced calories to drop fat, we focus on fueling our bodies to be nourished. We focus on having a nice balanced protein, fat, carbohydrate mix in, and with food that tastes good and feels good, and that health that provides. Another one we look at it as a source of fuel. We want to train hard. Your focusing is on training hard. You want to be fueled for your workouts because you love getting stronger. You love feeling healthy. You've got these goals that you're working towards. Use use food as a fuel. Focusing fuel around training and that, so you know that this food that you're ingesting is like, yeah, this is fueling my workout. This is what I'm aiming for. And these things lead to who is this important to? This is important to you, and you are important to these people. So this satisfaction, if you're moving towards this, all of these goals of what's important, instead of focusing on the other things here that aren't as important, you're moving towards a goal, something that is tangible. And with fat loss, it's going to come with that. If you're nailing your calorie deficit, your energy out versus your energy in is absolutely perfect, and everything that goes along with an energy deficit, which is simply consuming less than you expend, you're going to lose fat, you're going to lose weight, you're going to achieve those physique goals. But not with focusing on the fat loss. You're going to focus on making all these things that make us feel good and these things that we can work towards that are great. And then at the end of this journey, you might hit that scale weight, you might hit that physique goal. But what you've done is you've learned all these amazing habits and all these amazing behaviors that are going to make that physique goal feel fantastic and manageable to keep up. Sometimes when we use some of these avoidant behaviors and some of these other tools, we end up yo-yoing back into where we didn't want to be before. So if we're working towards something, building habits, building these healthy routines and making sure it feels good. So when you get to the end of your fat loss journey, you go, I feel freaking amazing. You're going to want to work towards something else instead of working away from something. I hope this helps. I hope this makes a little bit more sense, and hope you can see how we could use a diagram like this to kind of work out what our own relief systems are, what our own avoidant behaviors are. We can dial in what's important and who is important to us during this. These are the people that are going to support us. So I hope this helps. I hope this can change the way you would view some of your goals, and I hope you can move towards a very intrinsic and holistic way of goal setting to make us feel better rather than running away from something that doesn't make us feel good.